So why do people die in survival situations? Most of us acknowledge that we have ancestral knowledge in the wilderness space. We didn't always live as a species in cities. And yet, most of us now, if we were put into the extremes of the environment, the natural environment that is, we would perish. Why is that the case? That's a question that has intrigued me for the better part of 30 odd years, if not more. So why do we? Here's my take on some of that. The first one is simple. We've become creatures of ease. We have become a lot less ruggedized than our ancestors were. And that's a harsh thing to say in this modern world where everyone wants to be easily offended by every word that comes out of everyone else's mouth. But it's a fact. It's a fact. We are simply less rugged than our ancestors were. Even a generation or two back, our grandparents and great-grandparents lived with a lower level of technology, a lower level of comfort, a lower level of ease. Life was fundamentally harder. Their bodies were physically more robust, their bones stronger, and their tactile coordination at having to use their hands day in, day out to solve basic problems was at a higher level than it is today. We have a lot more knowledge, but we have a lot less skill with our hands. And as a consequence, we're also very unfamiliar with the limitations of our own bodies. And, in conjunction with our own bodies, our own minds. We have lived too long in air-conditioned comfort and fundamentally have lost touch with how much of a survival machine a human being really is. And that's a reality. We are the only species that can live in nearly any environment on planet Earth. We are the most adaptive species. We have invested a lot of our ability in a big brain, in the ability to problem solve at a very, very complex level. As a consequence, we are a robust species, and we can prevail in areas where most other species cannot. We can manipulate the external environment to suit us. The modern society, though, has become easy for us. It's got its own challenges. I understand all that. It's got its complexities, and it's a lot more of a stressful existence than I suggest even our ancestors near and far experienced. That all said though, our modern version of ourselves is fundamentally less capable of dealing with that out there. Now that's no longer home. That's hell. During this course, I'm going to convince you that that is home, that everything you need to survive exists out there or nearby. So there's no need for you or anyone else for that matter to die in the wilderness. It's simply a matter of having a set of base skills, and one of those base skills is the ability to keep yourself calm and functioning. We do that by understanding a lot about our mind and our body. We do that by understanding ourselves. As Sun Tzu would say, we know ourselves, we know the enemy. Now, in survival, the enemy is ourselves. So let's sit on that for a while. Let's masticate that before we digest it. Let's chew that over. There's no need for us to turn an unexpected overnight stay in wilderness space into an absolute emergency. We're not normally going to perish in that level of condition. A lot of the cases that we see around the world are nothing more than people being slave to their own inherent fears, and fear is fueled by a lack of knowledge and understanding. So we simply reverse engineer the process and we make you a survival machine once again by giving you knowledge, competence and skills.